Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Daily High with your hosts, Matt McGregor and Tone Vase. Good morning, Tone. Looks like you're in Vegas. Look at that carpet.
Morning. I am in Vegas. The first activity of the event starts tonight with a carnivory dinner. I'm moving into a ridiculous suite that I'm sharing with like six, seven people, and so I will have to do at least one stream from there, either on this channel or my channel, maybe both. I brought some very nice cigars, and we're gonna be enjoying those. And yeah, looking forward to another unconfiscatable. The poker tournament's tomorrow night. If you're watching and you're near Vegas and you're getting FOMO, still time to join all the activities. We got some room.
What did you say? Are you in the Elvis Presley suite or something? What did you say you're in tomorrow? The Rock and Roll suite? What is it? What's it called?
Yeah, no. This is just a regular room. I'm at down in downtown Vegas. It does look pretty cool. And
Yeah,
as of later today, I'm going to be at the Real World Suite. It was used for an MTV show called Real World
that's it.
Vegas.
That's it.
And yeah, it's really nice. It's like massive. It's like the entire floor of the hotel.
It's awesome. Well, I'm flying out at bloody 4 in the morning. Oh, I got to get up at 4 in the morning for a early morning fly out tomorrow to Token 2049. So once again, if you're in Singapore tomorrow, shout out. I'll be there for the week and can't wait to see you. All right.
All
Well,
right.
hell, I'll go first if you like. I can get through it pretty
Yeah, go
quickly.
first. Go first. I heard Bangbox had a nice trade.
Yeah, we did. We had a classic. So I'll leave that for the end. All right. So I'm still in this trade at 55,260, and it's at that point where I'm looking at closing this trade out unless we kick on further, which we might do. So I'm just on that. It's on that teetering edge, and you'll see it as we go down the time frames. But we had a really nice weekly close, as you can see here at hell. I mean, this is a data glitch here, but 59 to 50, we'll call it. Was that 59? 59 to 300, whatever like that. Pretty good weekly close. In a vacuum, it's a good weekly close, but in reality, it's still got the hallmarks here of a lower high, which I mean, at this point is not impressive, right? I mean, until we start to break some of these local highs here, it looks like, well, are we going to put in a further downside? I think this is coming to a head. Whichever way it decides to go, it really looks like it's starting to pinch because we are putting higher lows right here and we are putting in lower highs. I don't use Bollinger Bands, but if you've got it handy when you bring it up the weekly time frame, I'd like to see if they are, or even on the daily time frame, if they're starting to contract. Be interesting to see is if it does have that breakout feeling to it. And I don't know, I don't have a natural direction. The wave is still red, so which gives me like a bearish bias overall. Which I could definitely see if we come back down and once again we start to get below. Everyone's talking about the same thing. I've seen like 50 memes on Twitter this week about. I saw some really funny ones. It's just like above here is like here is gay, below here is really gay, above here is not gay. And that's just it's just like the funny memes, and that's in a bad way to put it, but the same that's how I feel. Like above the Lucid Star here, it's we're looking really bloody great, all time highs. In this zone right here, it's really hard to trade. And below these lines here, it looks like we're pushing further downside. I don't have anything more for you. I don't know. I'm still completely locked and loaded in all the long term trades. I'm still in this trade as it stands right now. And if we continue to rally throughout the day, I'll give it another day to see. I'm not losing money on this trade, even though it was in good profit. I don't know. I don't know. This could turn into a really good green star candle, even though right now it's on a red one. We'll have to just see how it goes. There's not enough time. I think we'll have to reference the gold prices and the S&P 500 to try and get some direction out of this. I don't have much direction. Some of the oscillators that we looked at last week, we'll just go through quickly. Oh, sorry, it is really hard to grab onto. Have a look at some of these oscillators. We have had the cross here on the EXA, which is what I was talking about on Friday's show, that I really want to see a nice EXA cross here. And it does, I don't know if this is relevant, but it looks like we've put in a higher low here. I don't know if that's how the EXA has any relevance, but I do like to see either way across on the EXA. That's a good point. I mentioned in last week's show that look, this is neither bullish or bearish. Coming up and retesting the 50 line once again is a perfect place to get rejected. I said that on Friday. So until we clear this downwards trajectory that we've currently got on the EMA, I can see this pulling up with a ripping through with a vengeance and giving us a really good EXA cross, a really good EMA cross, a breaking of those local highs and giving us some real upside. But it hasn't done that yet. So it's like innocent until proven guilty as far as I'm concerned. It's just we're just guessing. We have rounded off slightly here on the Copic curve, which I like, but we're only 1 day into the week, and this with a dump in the price, that thing will just turn back down. It's almost been a straight line down since we crossed the zero mark here. I need to see this thing round off and start to get above the zero mark, which it hasn't done anywhere near that yet. So that's the weekly as it stands right now. Very similar to the price. I mean, it did have a great pump. We're at 58,000. It had a good weekend. We've had a good weekend and a good weekly close. So there is light at the end of the tunnel, but it's much and much the same. The last few days have put us in this on the daily time frame. As I click over now, we're exactly in that spot, which I don't really like at all. Getting to the top of an MRI count on the daily time frame, but as well as that, we never got the bullish cross here on Alpha Numerics on the daily time frame. We never put in a higher low. It's just a continuation pattern of this higher highs, higher lows. It's just more defined here on the daily time frame. You can see it clearly. My money's probably on the downside looking at it in a vacuum like this. I would like to see us come back down into this. If we were to crash at this point, I hate the word crash, but if we were to dip at this point, as long as we stay above this 50, call it 54,000, we could actually change the whole dynamic here and put in a nice higher low, get a nice W-shaped recovery. And then once we start to get above these moving averages on the upside, I can definitely see the next time we get above 60, it being a very positive sign to get above 60, but it hasn't done it yet. So it's just speculation. 4-hour time frame, as I wind up my analysis, we had a really good trade once again, but we are getting that bearish cross right now. Yeah, I mean, this trade, I will close this trade, and this is what I was talking about. If we start to get below the 50 simple moving average here, I'll just take profit on the trade and re-up for the next one. It's still in, 5,000 profit or whatever. It's still a good week and a half's trade, but I won't let it go back down to nothing. Just follow the basic trading rules on this one. But I want to see it recover, but it hasn't done it yet. I'll just quickly glance at Bangbox, the last trade that we put in over the weekend, which was really
That's a
terrific.
15-second.
Man, I tend to do that all the time. I'm going to get rid of these seconds. If we find a way to get rid of the seconds, I'll just ditch them. Oh, we had a good 15 minutes. Look at this. Brilliant off a green star here. I'm just going to get rid
of the MRI as well. Look at that. That was
all right, you can talk about that.
No, that was an MRI buy candle too.
It was. I'm just going to change the settings because I've got these. Bangbox is going to have a massive new upgrade where I'm putting these take profits in place as well. This is the new iteration of Bangbox, the bot, but they're not implemented yet. So we're going to have these different points where we can pull profits on the trade as it goes up. It's going to be a massive upgrade because it'll protect the trade a lot more in the early stages of the trade that you'll start to take off. But this is the ideal. This is why I built Bangbox for this. Specifically this situation where we entered the trade right here very nicely at 59,000. We had an initial stop loss in place. As the price rose, the trailing stop trailed the price. We got above our target of 20% and the price faltered. We came back down, closed it out at about 18% and avoided this dump. Now, this is specifically why I built the bot, because anyone can buy. I'm never interested in like, oh, I got a good buy. I'm more interested in your close. And the fact that this is all automated and you didn't have to think about the close, most people here won't close the trade and they'll miss out. They'll go back to below their entry because they'll be like, oh, I should have closed the trade here. I'm not closing it here. When it goes back up, I'll close. But then it goes back up and they're like, oh, well, I'll hold on. It'll go longer and blah, 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 blah. If you know what I'm talking about. And I know what you're talking about because I've spent years there as well. But look at that. Magic. Absolutely magic. 18% on the day. As I come back to you, Tone, please like and subscribe. Please share it with your friends. If you're interested in having access to the bot, it's totally free. Links in the description below. Join the Discord group. It's a great community there. Just use the affiliate links in the description below. Tone, what are you seeing, mate? You got any more clarity than I got? I got nothing.
All right. No, well, you said something that was going to be the focus of my analysis. I did put Bollinger Bands on. I don't really see anything. It's not really that contracted. I mean, you kind of want to see it like this for a while, and
How about on the daily time frame, mate? I thought on the daily it might be a bit more succinct.
no,
Did we get anything there? No,
no, still pretty wide.
no, no.
Still pretty
Sorry,
wide in my view.
that
But
that was a punt.
uh, yeah, I'm gonna take those down.
Just ditch them. Good.
And I'll start with the weekly. So there is good news on the horizon. I am still in cash. This did not get me long. I stuck to the rules, and I needed us to go above the prior swing high on a 4-day, but that swing high was in the $64,000 range. We came up to almost 61. We've now pulled back. So the weekly chart is still in this downtrend. We're flip-flopping on the MRI, which is fine. And we're not going to get to that MRI buy opportunity, which is also fine, though we still can if we go down for the next, I don't know, 8 weeks or so, we would be able to get that MRI buy. But going down for another 8 weeks is probably unlikely. I'm still anticipating the bull market to start either later this month or next month. So the allocation chart, the good news is that we can now break above the big moving average of 30 at a lower price. I no longer need to wait until 64,000 to go long. I will now be able to go long at around 61,000, and you can see it most clearly on the daily chart. The daily chart has just established a new swing high with a proper pullback that's already lasted 3 days. We're not going to get the MRI sell unless the price ends up going up and closing at a new above 61,000 today or tomorrow. And it actually can happen. Well, not tomorrow, because tomorrow is the day before the FOMC. So anything can happen on Wednesday. There's the big FOMC rate announcement is on Wednesday. I think they're going to cut 25 basis points, but the market is now saying there's a 61% chance that they're going to cut it 50 basis points. I think that's unlikely. And the reason why that's unlikely is because the stock market is pretty much at a new all-time high, which is kind of crazy
Hey,
how
Tone,
high the stock market is.
in recent memory, in the last 4 years, have you have you ever, or do you remember ever the pundits being wrong on the FMOC's predictions? I don't remember ever seeing them be wrong.
Uh, they, no, they're occasionally wrong, but it depends how you define wrong. I am expecting the Fed to cut, but if they only cut 25 basis points, does this consider wrong? Because
Yes.
61% are expecting 50.
In
Um,
in in the in the way that I meant it, I would consider that wrong. I mean
okay,
it that way.
I would not. I would need this at like 85 or 90, and then I would consider it wrong. It would need to be like massive consensus,
Mhm.
right? So I would not consider it wrong, but something like this and them coming in at 25 basis points, yeah, that probably happens 25% of the time.
Righto. Cool. Yep. Thanks.
Okay, so that's probably the best news I can give people is that there is a chance we can bounce off 57,500 here, and then all we will need is a break of this blue line that I just drew, which is at 60,500. And once we break 60,500, good things are likely to happen because now we're only dealing with 2 points of resistance, and we've already broken 2 points of resistance. I'm not even going to count if we do bounce off of the moving average and go back above the 50-period moving average. I'm not even going to consider that to be a big deal, as I don't consider 50,000 to be resistance anymore because we just kind of somewhat broke it a few days ago. So this is one of these things I always put in. This is how horizontal resistance breaks with a pattern that looks like this, and that's exactly what happened. And that's exactly what Matt has coded into Bangbox, and this is how it makes money. It's basically a breakout above consolidation or a breakout off of a pullback, and it has a general shape. This one has already fallen down to the area of support. Now, this is good and bad. The good news is we are imminently due for a reversal here. And if we go below 58,000, Bitcoin could be in a lot of trouble going into new lows, right? Especially if the Fed chooses not to lower the rate at all. There's probably going to be a catastrophic crash, a capitulation style crash. If the Fed um, does something unexpected in the we're not going to lower rates too much direction, then it's very possible Bitcoin will set one final low. And I will say one more thing. If we start sniffing 53,000, I'm going to be 80 to 90% confident we're going into the 40s. It's one thing having a double bottom that is debatable whether this is a double bottom or a straight up higher low. It's just in that higher low area, but it was too close to a double bottom for me to buy this dip. I am so confident this is not going to happen again. Like, we need to stay above 55,000. Anything above 55,000 is double low territory versus 53, and anything near 53,000 is triple low territory versus what happened back in August. So anything below 55,000, it gets me incredibly bearish. In fact, even if we start dropping below 56,000, all indications are on a Consensio that you should just be short. So let's hope it doesn't go any lower. We'll rebound here, and that allows me to start entering bullish positions at the break of the most recent swing high of 60.5. And that would be the ideal situation, or a crash down to 42, 44,000. Those are my two favorite outcomes. I don't really want to see Bitcoin get back into this low $50,000 area. It makes it completely uninteresting for me. So either Bitcoin is going into the 40s or it's breaking above 61. If it's breaking above 61 today, I think that's going to be a little bit trickier versus if it's breaking 61 on Wednesday, Thursday into the end of the week. All right, that's pretty much it. Gold remains bullish.
Oil.
And oil, this was basically the best call I've had in the last few months. When I exited the Bitcoin trade, I said I may go long oil. I did not because of all the stuff I have going on, including the conference. But this was an incredible trade. I called it right here at $66.50. And I think it's going to go higher. But even at this point, I would be setting my stop loss at the bottom of today's candle. And by the time today is over, if oil closes above $70 today, my stop loss on oil would probably be in the 69.44 area here. And if oil goes above 71, I would raise that all the way to about $70 and probably like 69.95, something like that. If oil closes today above 71, which it very well might, I would raise my stop loss all the way to there. This probably, I mean, this is what you wait for. There should not have been any oil trades this entire year, probably. Well, it's been a long year. No, you could have easily had a short trade up here. But in the last 3 to 4 months, this is the only oil trade that needed to be made. And that's how you make the money. You wait for that perfect setup and you take the trade. Gold is, my target is 3,000, and the S&P, my target is about 12,000. Right now, I mean, that's my S&P target. Right now, we are sitting at 5,600.
Did you say
And
12,000?
my target is something insane, a doubling of the S&P over the next several years. And for now, My target is just significantly higher. We're breaking out above a super significant area. You could have your horizontal resistance here as well that we're on the verge of breaking. Let's see how this FOMC goes. I'm sure it's going to be bullish for the market no matter what they do. And the breakout's going to go very, very nicely. That's pretty much it for me. Here's that yield curve. It's definitely announcing to the world that the Fed's going to lower rate. You can see every single interest rate is pretty much lower than it's been for months. Therefore, the Fed is likely to cut interest rate. Matt, any questions before I come off screen share?
No, mate, that's fantastic. Thank you.
All right, and close us out. Go for it.
Yeah, good on you, mate. Have a wonderful time in Las Vegas. I hope once again, if you're in Singapore at Token 2049, say hello to your old mate Matt, and we're gonna try and do some shows while I'm in Singapore, but we're gonna flip the time frame, so I can do the shows at 7 in the morning instead of 11 at night, and maybe Tone can do them at 11 at night. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
But
the problem at 11 at night is I have my own events, but maybe during the VIP party at the suite, we can do a show.
that'd be really cool. All right. Thanks, guys. Hang out for that. Otherwise, the shows this week are going to be a bit spotty. But I promise from next Sunday, I'm back to reality. No more travels for a little while, and we'll settle in for the rest of the year. Thanks, guys. See you tomorrow. Thanks, Tone.
Awesome. Bye, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.